Hola, bienvenue sur ma chaîne. Welcome to my channel. So today I'm doing a bit of a different video. This video is for girls raised in a very Americanized, or I should say very westernized household where you weren't raised with a lot of the traditional customs that a lot of other ethnicities have in common culturally. And I thought this would be maybe helpful for, like, especially white girls, okay? Let's be real here. White girls from America or England, like very westernized, kind of that kind of white. But basically, if you are dating an ethnic boy, whether he's black, brown, or Asian, whatever, it's going to apply to traditional cultures. So these are going to be 5 tips helping you girls out if you want to make a good impression with the parents. You guys can say it's judgmental for other people to be like, oh, well, they shouldn't be like that or whatever. But the truth is, a lot of cultures have their ways, their different customs and things that are acceptable and not acceptable, especially when you are a new woman coming into the family, especially if you are not of the same ethnicity or background as your partner. So these are a few things that will help you make a good impression on his parents. Okay. I have to get the first one out of the way because it bothers me so much when I see it, because it's like, why? Fucking PDA. You do not need to be all over each other in front of family, parents, whatever. It's totally unnecessary. Are you gonna die if you guys aren't just fucking all over each other just in front of the family just for an evening or a few hours? Like, it looks bad. I don't know, white people, Americanized British people may not quite understand why PDA looks bad. To us, it's like really disrespectful. It doesn't look good. Like, your parents do not need to see their kids just, do you know what I mean? It's just like, I get uncomfortable now when I see it. Like, and like, I always just knew the code ever since I was younger. I usually dated guys within my own, like, just with cultural similarities, so we just knew. It was never even discussed. We just knew automatically, if we're in front of parents, you're fucking sitting over there, don't touch me. And it's respectful. You act like you're friends, and it's far more respectful. You do not need to be all handsy and all over each other in front of everyone. It's just like, my whole point is, you risk looking a certain way when you're like that in front of family, but you look a lot more respectable to just not have to be hanging all over him in front of parents and family. And people will talk, like, it just doesn't look good. I just don't see the benefit. Perhaps like I've had a few of my white girlfriends say, well, I want to show his parents that I care about him, or blah, blah, blah. Like, you obviously care about him, you're with him, you're dating him, and he's introducing you to your family. Like, there's literally no fucking benefit to hanging all over him like you're desperate for attention. It just doesn't look good, so refrain from it. If you meet parents, don't touch each other. You don't need to even sit beside each other. You're already there as a potential partner, and they're going to be critiquing everything. And that's the way it is. Like, in our culture, affection, it should be intimate, behind the door. It's a private thing. You should do it in the comfort of your privacy, not in front of family members and parents. Like, there's really no need to be like that in front of anyone. That's like between you guys. Your affection can wait. It's just more respectable and presentable if you can just sit like normal people and treat each other kindly without having to be all kissy, mushy, and touchy. It's really weird. Like, in my culture, it's very weird. So just refrain from doing that, and just like keep your legs closed and your hands to yourself while you're alone again. It's not forever, and you'll fucking live. You're not gonna die, okay? You're not gonna die. If you want to make a good impression, no PDA in front of family. No PDA. I'm serious. Okay, another thing. Come over for dinner. Always try and help, even if his mum or his sisters or his aunties, whatever, are saying, no, sit down, it's okay. You fucking get up and you try and help. like, you better die trying. Because it looks really bad if you're like, oh, okay, and then you're just gonna sit down and just like wait for them to just like do everything. It just looks bad. Again, it's just like, if you want to make a good impression, go above and beyond when it comes to like helping the women in the kitchen or the men in the kitchen, whatever. Try to help out with whatever's going on. If you're doing dinner, try and help do the dishes. Try and help. Can I do anything? Are you sure? If they really don't want you to do anything, wait till they literally like grab your arm and like force you to sit down, and then you can just be like, are you sure? Are you sure you don't need any help? Okay, that's number 2. So do your best to try and help out. Don't just sit there and like expect everything to be done for you. Even if you're a guest, it looks almost entitled if you don't offer. In our culture, it's really bad if you don't offer. You have to offer to help the mother, to help whoever's preparing dinner. Try and help. Also, try and clear the table. Clear his plate first. I know it sounds like, oh my God, misogynistic or patriarchy, but in our culture, it's a respect thing. Like with us, like we always like feed the men first. We clear the plates first. Like it's a sign of respect, and you may not agree with it, but like that's the way it is. It's just like, it's just tradition, culture, you know, and just the way things are done. Also, try and serve him first. Like, you know, you may not agree with this. Like, oh, women are equal, but in our culture, it just looks, you know, my whole point is, if you want to look like you are caring about the son, the way to do it is not hanging all over him, trying to snog him in front of everyone. The way to do it in our culture is, would you like more food? Let me get your plate of food. You sit down. Like it's showing that's how you are looking after him. You are getting his plate of food first. You are asking if he needs anything. That's, in our culture, that's how you look like a good potential mate. Of course, you will look after each other, but you're trying to make a good first impression with the family. They don't want the son with some lazy girl that's just not going to be a benefit at all. Like, you know, a girl that just doesn't contribute to the relationship at all. Someone who just sits on her ass on her phone all day, and then he's going to be, usually, if they're quite traditional, he's going to be paying all the bills. Most guys in my culture do pay everything. So it's kind of like, how are you going to be taking care of him in your way? Like, putting your hands all over him and sitting on his lap it doesn't look good. So in that sense, it's like acts of service. And of course, you know, it's expected that a man is going to help a woman too, but you're trying to make a first impression with his family. You only have this short window of time to make a good impression. So show his family how much you care about him by how nurturing and accommodating you are in front of them for the short span of time you have. Okay. So that's number 2. Number 3, dress appropriately. There is no reason for you to go over to a man's home and have your tits and ass hanging out. Why? I don't give a fuck if you guys think that's judgmental or, oh yeah, women should wear what they want. Just because you can show up in your fucking underwear naked. Does it make a good impression? Is that the type of girl that his family want him to be with? At the end of the day, people will judge, and what you wear reflects the way you are. Like, sometimes it's not accurate, and that may not be right. Like, obviously you can dress really conservative but be completely for the streets. That's not the point. The point is, you're trying to make a good impression and look decent and elegant in front of his family. There's just no reason for you to be dressing very like scantily clad in front of his family. Why? Just because you can. Like, at the end of the day, you're trying to make a good impression, and dress appropriately. You don't need to be showing so much skin. You can dress elegantly and respectfully in front of his family. So just wear something classy and elegant, and you won't give off the wrong impression. There's a time and a place for every kind of clothing. You know, you want to dress sexy, yeah, go to the club, but there's no reason for you. It's just unnecessary to just push boundaries and just try and for what? You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, read the room. What kind of audience are you trying to make a good impression with, and go with that. It's always best to go more conservative. You're never going to be judged being too covered up, but you will be judged if you're not covered up enough, because what for, right? Like, what for? Again, it's just like, what is necessary? There's just no reason to be, again, it's like, you want to go by that kind of philosophy, then show up naked and see what his family think. You know, at the end of the day, it's just common sense. Just dress elegantly, respectfully, and it will make a good impression. Number 4, the topics you talk about. You do not have to be completely transparent. I'm not saying you should lie, but they don't need to know absolutely everything. They don't need to know that you guys got pissed drunk over the weekend and had wild monkey sex naked in the back of a parking lot. Like, when it comes to ethnic families, again, it kind of rolls in with the whole PDA. Your sex life, the shit that you get up to alone should stay between you. There's no reason. Again, is it necessary? Ask yourself, what is the benefit of his family knowing? Have your fun. But again, his family don't need to know all those details. Like, of course, you're going to have your intimate, private, fun moments as a couple, but his family don't need to know all of that. The intimacy, the shit that you get up to alone. Avoid anything sexual, avoid anything too intimate, like those kind of topics, they don't need to know. When you talk about anything between you guys, keep it civil. It's best to approach each other and talk to each other, or talk about each other as friends, as respectful friends, because you can never go wrong in terms of the impression you make with his family. If you're like, oh yeah, me and him, we just ripped off our clothes and we had fucking back of the car and it was just awesome, he's so much fun. Like, it doesn't look good. Why do they need to know? How does that benefit your image to his family? They're just gonna think you're for the streets and that's it. They just don't need to know any of those like private, intimate details between you. You can say, we saw a movie last week, it was really funny. We'll talk about anything else. There's a plethora of topics you can talk about that don't involve the intimacy or sex life between you and said partner. So yeah, just be aware, read the room, and just keep your topics light and respectful. And it's really not that hard. These aren't your college dorm mates or your besties that you're having a glass of wine with and just chatting about bullshit. This is his family. And if you're serious about him, you're trying to look like a good potential partner, not just some like weekend fling. So don't act like a fling. Don't act like a one and done type of girl. Just present yourself in the most respectful manner. There's just no harm in it. There's no point risking everything in your reputation and what they think of you just because you want to be completely honest. Like, just have some common sense. Less is more. When it comes to traditional ethnic families, less is more. Okay, number 5. Bloody take off your fucking shoes. This one irritates the shit out of me, especially if some families, it's quite rare, but some families will not take off the shoes. They'll like allow you to wear shoes in the house. It's rare. But my whole point is, you're never going to go wrong just taking off your shoes. If they insist you keep them on, just still insist to keep them off. It's just more respectful, and you're going to make a better impression taking off your shoes regardless of what they practice in the house, because it's respectful. Leaving your shoes on and just forgetting, or just like walking through the house with your shoes, it just looks really bad, because I feel like most cultures outside of America and England take their shoes off. It's just respectful. You're dragging all this dirt, debris, and bacteria from outside. You've been walking all over the streets everywhere. God knows where your shoes have been. It's just respectful to take off your shoes regardless, and it will show that you are acknowledging and observing the small little details of his culture and the way they do things in the house. If you guys want to see more tips about this kind of thing, this is good for interracial, interethnic dating, then please do let me know in the comments. Ask away, ask your questions. I'm just sharing mine. I'm Asian Spanish and this is the way I grew up, but I have known just from talking to friends a lot of people that I went to school with that a lot of these customs, they span across a lot of different cultures. It's not just mine. So again, I'm just trying to help you girls out. If you're trying to make a good impression, you don't want to just fuck everything up just by your stupidity or just like not knowing, because guys are really stupid in that sense. They won't tell you. They're not going to tell you. They're just going to hope everything goes fine, but they're not going to like brief you on etiquette and what's okay and what isn't okay. But with these 5 tips today, I hope I've kind of given some of you some clarity. These are just very basic tips, but they will go a long way if you observe them. Best of luck to you all, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye.